paint splattered on the side, looking for Scooby-Doo nonsense.
A bizarre chase. Why police found themselves chasing a vehicle straight out of a popular cartoon, and who they say was behind the wheel.
Also, now accepting which New Mexico base is taking New Mexico IDs this morning, plus when the governor could sign new ID legislation.
And rape investigation. What a Lobo football player is accused of doing to a female student. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to KRQE News 13 this morning. I'm Adam Atchison.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Krista Gutierrez. Today is Tuesday, March 8th. We'll get to those stories in just a bit. But first, we are talking weather.
Yeah, we're also talking rain and snow possibility. Kristen Curry is in with those big changes. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Yes, rain, snow, thunderstorms, and wind is what we have on tap for today. So let's break this down. Doppler Radar showing a few showers out there to the south of Albuquerque right now in the middle of Catron County, stretching east towards Socorro County. But Luna County also covered up in some light rain. Now, most of this is light this morning, but there's a lot more on the way later this afternoon. Your temperatures this morning colder than yesterday in the teens and 20s out across northern New Mexico. You'll find some of those 30s and 40s further to the south. I do think it'll be a good idea to grab that rain jacket before you leave. Hourly forecast doesn't get us out of the 50s this afternoon, and I completely agree. We're going to take a break with those 60s for today. We'll see a lot of cloud cover overhead. Sunshine hard to come by here in Albuquerque, but it will return tomorrow. So today is the day to squeeze out the rain and the snow before this system to the south of us pushes a little bit further away. I'll break down the entire forecast. We'll go over the details of who and when we can expect the rain and snow coming up here in about 15 minutes.
Onto this developing this morning. A UNM football player is at the center of a police investigation after claims that he raped and kidnapped a fellow student.
Yeah, the woman says it happened while they were watching a movie. News 13's Sarah Yingling is here with the latest. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Crystal. In a police report obtained by News 13, the female student says it started with text messages and an invitation to her ex-boyfriend's apartment at Lobo Village. She told police when he asked for sex, she said no and tried to leave. That's when she says he held her down, saying, "Don't fight it, I'm stronger than you are," and continued to rape her while holding a pillow over her mouth. The next day, she says he sent her a text message that said, "I'm sorry for what I did," and he asked that she did not respond. When UNM police interviewed the 21-year-old Lobo football player, police say he changed his story. It wasn't until investigators confronted him with his own text messages that police say he admitted to having sex with her while she repeatedly told him no and stop. But he also claimed that she was kissing him too. Since no charges have been filed, we're not naming the football player. Once the case is complete, it'll be sent to the DA's office. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Sarah. UNM Police and the UNM Athletic Department are not commenting at this time. We will stay on top of the very latest on this on air and through our KRQE News app.
White Sands Missile Range is accepting New Mexico driver's licenses again this morning. The base announced the move yesterday. White Sands had initially stopped accepting New Mexico licenses because they did not comply with the federal Real ID Act. The Real ID Act requires proof of legal U.S. residency for those who want to use state IDs to access certain federal facilities. Now that lawmakers have made the state compliant, the feds granted an extension. The governor is expected to sign that bill sometime this week.
On to news happening this morning. Congresswoman Michelle Lujan Grisham is asking questions about why federal authorities did not arrest an accused cop killer earlier. In a letter to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, Grisham asks why Devon Lyman was not arrested after he allegedly sold drugs to undercover federal agents twice. Soon after, police say Lyman shot and killed APD officer Daniel Webster during a traffic stop. Grisham is also asking questions about the feds' undercover operations.
A former APD officer accused of trying to intimidate an investigator won't be on the job this morning. Steve Hindy was fired in December for accused of intimidating a civilian police oversight agency investigator. The chief claimed that Hindy gathered the investigator's personal information through a confidential federal database. The investigator was looking into a complaint made against Hindy. In a personnel hearing yesterday, he argued he didn't deserve to be fired. The department agreed to allow him to resign instead of firing him.
On to this developing story for parents and students. Soon 9th and 10th graders will have fewer standardized tests to deal with. Schools are required to give 9th and 10th graders standardized exams in math, writing, and reading 3 times a year. Yesterday, Governor Susana Martinez signed a law that gets rid of those tests. Students are still required, though, to take the lengthy park test.
Move on to a follow-up to a story that we first reported yesterday morning on News 13. Albuquerque City Council has voted to change how close food trucks can park to restaurants. Just last fall, councilors approved making trucks park 100 feet away after worries that they were taking away business from restaurants. The councilors changed that to 75 feet in a vote last night. The new policy also allows food trucks to park in front of restaurants if the restaurant is closed.
2 more Roswell dairy workers allegedly caught abusing cows on camera are awaiting trial this morning. A warning: the video you're about to see may be graphic for some. Meanwhile, Cesar Morales Iniguez has agreed to a plea deal. He was captured stabbing cows with a screwdriver, beating cows with his fist, and whipping them with a thick rubber hose. Yesterday, he pleaded no contest to 3 counts of animal cruelty. The charges stem from an undercover investigation by Mercy for Animals at the Winchester Dairy. As part of his plea deal, he will serve probation. He could have received 3 years of prison time. Another worker also got probation. On to this, an NMSU student getting a lot of attention this morning for conducting research that could help predict dust storms. The graduate student analyzed dust data for a 4-year period, including when dust events actually happen and their pressure patterns. Her findings are expected to provide a tool that will better help forecasters. They will be able to determine whether a dust day will occur in the next day or 2.
Time is 6:06 new this morning. The TSA is warning passengers to expect longer lines at the airport as they prepare for millions of spring break travelers. The number of passengers is up more than 7% compared to this time last year. They're advising flyers to get to the airport early now.
This breaking overnight news right now. Investigators in California are trying to figure out what caused this commuter train to derail, injuring 14 people on board. It happened late last night. The train was traveling from Central California to the San Francisco Bay Area when it plunged into a creek. You could see it right there. Authorities believe the train hit a tree on the tracks. 214 people were on board the train at the time. Everyone was able to make it out and bus to the next stop. Service on that line where the crash happened is canceled for today.
Newly released video this morning shows a pair of brazen thieves in California hauling away an ATM. The surveillance video captured the 4-minute-long crime. Detectives believe the two knew the layout of the store and they were fully prepared to pull the machine from the bolts that were drilled into the ground. As for the plates, police say the criminals switched them, and now the owner is out thousands of dollars in damage, not including the rented ATM machine or the money that was inside it. Happening this morning, police are still looking for a California woman who they say led them on a chase using a van that looks like the Scooby-Doo mystery machine.
Is it 12 on Velma or Daphne? I think it's on Scooby.
Police say it started Sunday afternoon when 51-year-old Sharon Turman tried to make a run for it during a routine probation check. Her probation officer called 911 immediately. Officers responded in force as the chase went on. It was eventually called off, though. Turman almost caused multiple crashes before she is accused of abandoning the mystery machine. And like one of the ghouls in the cartoon series, she just vanished. So that's why the search is on for her this morning.
Okay, so here's the thing. That is screaming, you
Yeah,
can find me, right?
Right.
If you're going to be breaking the law, you need to be in a more discreet car.
And a word on why she had that, by the way.
Because
Maybe she's a fan. Yeah, I don't know.
On KRQE News 13 this morning, escaping danger.
He grabbed me around my waist and like wrapped his fingers around his.
A girl nearly abducted fights for her life. What she did that parents and other kids need to hear about this morning.
Plus, Powerbox proposal, the new idea P&M has for your meter that could make it easier for crews, but also harder on your wallet. Just ahead.
Also this, seeking solutions, the big budget issue authorities at APS are asking students, parents, and teachers to weigh in on tonight. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to KRQE News 13 this morning. I'm Krista Gutierrez.
I'm Adam Atchison. Tuesday, March 8th today. We'll get to the day's top stories in just a moment, but first we're looking at a change in the weather happening right now.
We sure are. We're talking rain, possibly snow. Kristen Curry's tracking all that.
Good morning, guys. That's exactly right. We're getting a full day of spring today. It's going to be a mixed bag of it all. Rain, snow, thunderstorms, wind, and cooler temperatures for today. I do want to start, though, with a look at the Doppler radar, as we have a few snow showers up there near Commuter to the north of Socorro, and this is pushing to the north, so we'll watch to see if it can make it to us here in the metro area, but they're having a hard time holding together this morning. We have more rain behind it out near Luna County, and it's trying to stretch into Doña Ana County as we speak. So there's a lot more on the way for today. So don't get discouraged if it's not raining in your neighborhood just yet. Temperatures, though, colder, and this is statewide. You're going to need the jacket, as we're seeing a lot more 20s and 30s on the map today compared to yesterday's 40s. Hourly forecast puts us back into the 50s this afternoon. Not quite going to make it to 60 today like yesterday, but we're also going to see a lot more cloud cover than sunshine as we get past lunchtime. 3-day forecast shows the sunshine coming back tomorrow, so today's the day to squeeze out the rain and the snow here in the metro before things start to clear out later on this week. I'll break down the entire 7-day for you. We'll go over the timing too of today's rain and snow coming up here in about 15 minutes.
All right, Kristen, thanks. We're going to turn now to some breaking news this morning. Right now, Albuquerque firefighters are attacking a fire at a strip mall in northeast Albuquerque. This is video just into our newsroom. Crews were called to the area near Central in Wyoming a couple of hours ago. When they arrived, they could see flames coming from the roof. We did some checking, and we found out that that strip mall houses a meat market. It's unclear right now which business the flames started in or the cause of the fire. At last check, there were no known injuries. We're going to continue to monitor this, bringing the very latest on air and on the KRQE news throughout the morning and throughout the day. 6:32 on to this. Happening today, Albuquerque Public Schools wants to know how you would handle its nearly $700 million budget.
Yeah, this year the district is actually struggling. It's short $9 million because of state funding. So what they want to know is, where would you cut? News 13's Catherine Mazzone is live at APS headquarters, where the forum will be held later on today. Good morning, Catherine.
Good morning, Crystal. Now, $700 million may sound like a lot. It sounds like a lot to me. But the district says it's supposed to cover everything from instruction to maintenance. So here are some of the things that they want you to know before you weigh in this evening. Close to 90% of the district's operational budget pays for employee salaries and benefits, close to 70% for teachers. In fact, APS says a lot of money goes directly into the classroom, and the district wants to keep it that way, avoiding cuts that directly affect students. But they say this year it's going to be tough. Officials say its budget is a little tighter. They blame it on a state deficit caused by declining oil prices, which means there could be more cuts down the road. It's one reason why school officials say they want to hear where you think they should cut costs. Now, another big issue for APS, it gets most of its money from the state based on the number of students attending. Well, this year they saw 1,300 fewer students. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Catherine. The forum is set for 6 o'clock tonight. That is, again, at APS headquarters. For more details, go to our website, krqe.com.
In just hours, you have another chance to share your thoughts on the controversial Albuquerque Rapid Transit project. The $100 million project would set up bus stations down the middle of Central from 98th Street to Tramway, and there would be one lane in each direction for buses from Louisiana to Coors. Following last week's round of heated public meetings, city officials say tonight will be dedicated to letting people ask questions on the project and voice opinions, too. Each person gets 2 minutes to speak. That meeting is scheduled to get underway at 6 tonight in the Kiva Auditorium. More details on our KRQE News app.
On to news happening today. The International Albuquerque Sunport is getting 2 new nonstop flights from the Duke City to Vegas and to Austin. Allegiant made the announcement this morning. They'll begin its flights starting this summer. The announcement is in conjunction with its new $1 million summer campaign, pledging to give away $1 million in airfare now through the end of the summer. The nonstop year-round service will begin taking flights to Las Vegas and Austin starting in June, with fares as low as $29. To learn more and to take part in the campaign to receive some free airfare, visit our website or look up the links tab.
P&M wants to put power boxes that use radio frequency on your house. It would make life easier for the power company. But if approved, you'll end up paying for it. It would solve problems for people like Ralph Loomis. He's lived in this Albuquerque house for 46 years. And for 3 decades, he's locked his chain link fence. But one day last month, P&M sent Loomis a notice saying they couldn't read his meter, although they'd never had a problem before. You can see the meter, he says, from the sidewalk.
They got these big old monster binoculars. I mean, they can spot an ant over across there.
P&M tells us they made a mistake and they apologized to Loomis. But this is part of a bigger problem. P&M demonstrated just how difficult it can be to read meters. 1 week ago, P&M asked the Public Regulation Commission for advanced meters for all 531,000 customers. The device would directly communicate with P&M. You would help to pay for those new meters. To see the cost breakdown and hear more about the meter proposal, log on to our website, krqe.com.
This morning, an Albuquerque resident is moving forward, trying to get more people on board with another dog park in the city. This time, it's not only to benefit the pooches, though. The idea first popped up on the neighborhood site next door. Neighbors were asked if they thought a dog park at Morningside Park could help weed out the drug users and unwanted campers. It appears, though, the city is not as willing to go along with the idea just yet. City officials say a dog park there is not the best option. They require 1 acre for any dog park in the city. Morningside is only 1.5 acres.
So if we put in a 1 acre dog park, that takes away a lot of the other space that we have for the other park activities that will occur there.
The idea has not been brought to Park and Recs officially yet. The city tells us it does not know if dog parks help curb crime at city parks. As you wake up today, in Albuquerque Park is closed for a much-needed upgrade. A fence surrounds Matheson Park near Morrison Candelaria. The city says it will be closed for several months so crews can replace the aging irrigation system. About a dozen diseased trees will also be removed to be replaced with 48 new ones. The park will be closed through August.
Happening today, voters in Michigan head to the polls for that state's primary, which is expected to bring in record numbers. Meanwhile, Ted Cruz maintains he is the only candidate who can beat Donald Trump in the Republican race.
A vote for John Kasich, a vote for Marco Rubio, is effectively a vote for Donald Trump.
On the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton leads Senator Bernie Sanders by more than 600 delegates. Sanders told a crowd in Ann Arbor that Clinton was wrong during Sunday's debate when she accused him of being against the auto industry bailout in 2008. Today's primary in Michigan will be the big prize for both sides, with 59 Republican delegates up for grabs. 130 Democratic delegates are on the line.
On to news happening today. A teen shot in the head during a shooting spree, police say by an Uber driver last month, is expected to enter rehab. Abby Koff was one of the victims shot 2 weeks ago. 6 people were killed in the spree allegedly carried out by Jason Brian Dalton. He remains in jail facing several murder charges this morning. Abby was on life support when she squeezed her mother's hand. Her parents say since then she's improved. She's even laughing and smiling. Florida teen is safe this morning, finally speaking out about her ordeal after she says she was almost snatched by a kidnapper in front of a high school. Listen to this. Investigators are crediting the 13-year-old girl's quick thinking and her backpack for possibly saving her life. The girl says she was walking in front of the school when a driver asked where she was going. She says she ignored him, but says that he turned around, then parked, got out of the car, and tried grabbing her from behind. Her backpack was in the way, though.
He grabbed me around my waist and like wrapped his fingers around his. I was like pulling his wrist like away from each other, and that's when I guess he gave up and I just kept running. He ran back to his car.
Deputies still searching for the car and for this man in the sketch this morning. Hopefully they do find him.
It's frightening for any child and for their parents.
Oh, absolutely.